today I wanted to talk to you about hair health. Why would you want to listen to me and my channel? Well, even if you don't have hair loss, I see men and women and children of literally all ages, from little tiny 4-year-olds to people in their 90s. So age is no barrier, but it might surprise you to know that most of my clients are actually female, because most people will think when I specialise in hair loss, I'm seeing middle-aged bald men all the time, and that's really not who I see at all. The typical person would be somebody that is perimenopause to postmenopausal age. And as I said, I do see younger women too, and I do see men, but men usually typically when they're in their early stages of losing their hair, so in their early 20s, or more middle-aged men when it's just happening from the first time, and when it's happening quite suddenly, so it's a bit of a shock to the system. And the problem is with women when they're losing their hair is that they tend not to talk about it. So they may have only ever told like one closest friend, maybe their partner or their sister or their mum or their daughter. It may only be or their best friend, but it may only be like one person. And sometimes they just haven't talked to anybody at all about it until they come to see me, and there's often lots of tears involved with the whole finally opening up about it. So it's a very distressing situation for women when they think they're going bald and they're going to and start looking like a man or get bald patches. So when people come to see me for a consultation, first of all, it's hard for them to know that I exist in the first place, because very few of my clients will be, some people will, but very few of my clients will be advertising the fact that, oh yes, I've been seeing a trichologist for my hair and it's been really helping. They just won't talk about it. So yeah, you'll get a few people that thankfully that said, but they'll probably only tell their sister or their best friend perhaps. It tends to be when I get referrals that there will be family related, so somebody that's very close to that person. And a lot of people just won't know, therefore, that there's something that you can actually do about it. And people are quite in the dark about how much women are really suffering from their hair loss and what a taboo subject it really is, because as I said, it's just not talked about. So hopefully just bringing this topic up here will help. So even if you don't have hair loss, as a woman, most women want to have better hair. We all want to have thicker, more luscious hair. Hair is very defining. It really does define you. It's like your hairstyle can completely change how you look. So it's a trademark for a lot of people. When they are coming to see me, it would be like, oh, my hair was my crowning glory, and now I've got hair loss. So I really wanted to talk about how to maximize your hair. So you may not actually have hair loss, but you just want to get thicker, healthier hair. And when I mention hair loss to people say, well, I'm not losing my hair, it's just thinner. It's finer. Well, that's hair loss, isn't it? Because if it's finer or thinner, then that is a loss of hair. So I don't know why people get so confused with the terminology about hair loss. So hair loss doesn't necessarily mean that you've got alopecia and patches of big bald patches. It doesn't mean that you've got a huge bald patch here or there or whatever, alopecia. But hair loss can be excessive shedding. It can be that your hair is thinner than it used to be. It can be that you just got a bit of recession here at the temples, or your fringe is a bit thinner than it used to be, or maybe you're a bit thinner on the top or on the crown. So those are all types of forms of hair loss. And as long as you don't have a scarring type of an alopecia, and even if you do, then I can still help with that to minimize the scarring. But as long as you don't have a scarring type of alopecia, then your follicles have not died and you can still regrow hair. So I have a rule of thumb that if you have had any follicular activities, that's any loss or any growth in the last 5 years, then that's a good sign and we could do something with it. If you haven't had If there's been a patch somewhere on your scalp where you haven't had any hair regrowth or any loss for 5 years or longer, then unfortunately those areas or the follicles would have died now, and there isn't anything you could do about those specific areas. But then what you can do is to maximize hair regrowth in the rest of your areas. I have this area here on my temple. It's from many years ago, from when I was nursing. I used to have very, very long hair. I used to have it up in super tight ponytails on top of my head. In those days, nurses used to wear hats and used to have clips in them. And used to put the clips right here to hold the hats on. And so for me, it was like some traction alopecia that went unnoticed for years. And obviously, by the time I was a trichologist and knew anything about it, it was too late to do anything with that. But you can't really see it unless I skip my head back. If you have a look on the other side, it's not so bad on the other side. So yeah, it was more about tension on there. So what could you do? So if you came for a consultation with me, so I would like to do blood results and analyse your bloods. And it's really, really important to do that because I like to see what's going on internally, because there's usually something. It's almost unheard of that I will get someone that's got perfect blood results in their very first consultation. The only time that ever happens is if it's a scalp problem, and then there'll be other factors for scalp problems. But when it's hair loss, there will be things that I will be able to pick up on the blood results. What can you do to maximise your hair regrowth going forward? Number one tip, easy to do, is wash your hair every day, or at least every other day. You may not want to do it every day, but step it up a little bit. If you're not doing it already, then every other day. It makes a huge difference to you, but you do need to use good quality shampoos. And I have my own shampoo, which has just won an award for best new product in the Natural Beauty Awards. It's won gold prize, and now it's up against all manner of different products, not just shampoos and conditioners, not just hair products, but all products. And so yeah, I highly recommend trying my shampoo, and it's organic, and that's the number one thing to do. Wash your hair every day, because it's a myth. A lot of people, it's the number one thing that people come in to see me with, is they are not washing their hair every day, or if they are, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm washing it every day. They're kind of a bit apologetic and say, oh, I really have to, because it gets really greasy otherwise. It looks terrible if I don't. And a lot of people will say, well, I would like to wash my hair every day, but I know it's bad for me, so I don't. So I have to correct people. And a lot of people also, when they're seeing a lot of shedding, then it can be quite upsetting when they see the shedding. So that's another reason why they stop washing their hair so often. So anyway, wash your hair every day. Reasons being, it's really important to clean your scalp and your follicles, getting rid of any dead skin cells and pollution and dried sweat, and help those follicles to breathe, and help therefore for the hair to grow, because you can get a flaky scalp that can then cause hair loss and shedding. So really important to wash your hair and that does minimize shedding if you do that. So number two thing is controversial: eating red meat. So increasing your consumption of red meat. And I say that you really need to eat it at least 3 times a week. If you don't, then if you have objections to doing so, and the problem is that it is a current trend, it's been a trend for a while now, and it seems to be escalating, that people are reducing their red meat intake. And it's all very contentious. There's arguments about the environment and about animal welfare. Veganism isn't actually, well, I don't want to get into a big debate about veganism, because vegans can tend to get a bit upset. If you don't want to eat red meat, I'm not going to cause an argument about that. I do have my supplements are vegan, and I would recommend taking my iron supplement, and my B12. You just need to supplement more if you don't eat red meat. You will get low vitamin D levels if you're not eating red meat too. So So that's my number 2 thing, is increasing your red meat intake. And the other really important thing is de-stressing, not getting stressed about small minutiae, and practicing mindfulness and meditation, because stress is another big one for causing hair loss, can raise your thyroid levels and create thyroid imbalances and can cause hair shedding. So it's really important. Well, mostly you can't control stressful things happening, but you can change your responses to it. So it's really important to de-stress. And the 4th thing, so I know here, obviously women are of a certain age, so I want to touch on HRT, because that's another common issue. HRT and medication, let's not just say just HRT. So just check what medication you're on. If you've got some hair loss and hair shedding, just check your medication and what your side effects are. Then pretty much all beta blockers, so all tablets for high blood pressure, or tablets for statins, and for osteoporosis injections and antidepressants. They all cause hair loss. So it's not a question of just moving on to a different one. They will all cause them. Quite often you'll be all right if you're just on a lower dose, and sometimes people just have problems only when they're double the dose, and when they're on a lower dose they're okay, but then when the dose gets doubled, that's when they start getting hair loss. So if you are on any of those things, now the other thing to watch out for is, due to that hair cycle, your hair is actually a reflection of your life 100 days ago. Your hair right now is a reflection of, I would like to go onto my phone. What was the date 100 days ago? May the 26th. So we're talking about the end of May right now. So this is a problem when people have hair loss. They don't associate it with what's going on in their life at the time that they're having hair loss. No, you can have like some real major terrible stress that you were so upset about that it caused you to have hair loss, but it won't be for another 100 days that then you'll start to get the shed with your hair from that. And by that time you've probably even forgotten, hopefully, what it was that you were so stressed about that caused you to have hair loss 100 days ago. So this is a problem also with taking medications, is if you notice the hair loss immediately whilst you're taking it, like with the injection, say for osteoporosis, because it's an injection, you won't get the hair loss for another 3 to 4 months later. So you wouldn't correlate that with the injection. You would say, oh, I don't know why I'm getting hair loss. So this can happen also obviously with a tablet. So when you're starting taking tablets, but this is then going to be more of a prolonged thing, but you won't notice the hair loss for 100 days later. It's a similar thing that will happen with going on HRT as well. Most HRTs, the most commonly prescribed ones, are not good at all for your hair. They're synthetic and they can cause hair loss and thinning. So I wouldn't recommend HRT unless you have I would do it just specifically for your hair. But if you have other reasons, other menopausal symptoms that you want to take HRT for, then you can take it, but then ask for the natural progestogen, which is nutogestrone, and then you have to take the estrogen component will be a gel or a tablet or a patch, and they're usually okay, but it's a progestogen component that you really need to watch out for. So the most commonly prescribed ones are synthetic, and they can cause thinning and worsening of your hair loss. But these are the ones that doctors put you on unless you request otherwise. But if you do request otherwise, they will usually oblige. So I think that's it for my main points I wanted to cover, apart from the other most important thing to regrow your hair is by taking my nose supplement. So this is my M&Os. This is making sure you're getting all of the nutrients. This is a very, very pure supplement. There's no fillers or bulking agents, and it's most pure and bioavailable ingredients that you can get. And if you do nothing else but just take these, even if you carried on taking the medication that's causing you to have hair loss, this can help to counteract it and to get you to regrow and to improve your pigmentation, your skin, feel more energized. So it's £75 for 1 month supply. We have a special offer that if you buy 5, you get the 6th one free. It's very popular. So we do have my shampoos and iron, my vitamin D, my B supplement, which I haven't managed to touch on, and my collagen too, which is also very good. A lot of the collagen is very popular, but my one is specifically for hair and for menopausal type hair loss. So it's very important for women over 45 to take some extra collagen, and my one's specially formulated for hair regrowth. Rather, a lot of collagens out there are specifically more for your skin. So yeah, I'm conscious of the time, and if you have any questions that you wanted to ask me, then please leave some comments and I will be happy to cover those. Go to my website and you can download my free guide, 7 Secrets to Stop Thinning Hair. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel to watch more tips, and if you'd like to book a consultation, then it'd be lovely to see you, and that will be the best way forward if you are worried. So bye for now. Speak to you soon.